Everybody in this room sits at an inflection point. We all have an opportunity to innovate during a time of great disruption, which also means maybe taking a glance at some other companies, some other data sources that are translated, because I should mention that data in and of itself is meaningless. And as a former colleague of mine, a publicist, used to say, Rashad Tabakawala, for those who know him, data is not information, and information is not insights. And then I added, not all insights are actionable.
I know in many companies, people feel like they have their jobs and they stay within those jobs. How do you encourage people to cross over, to be creative, and to pass their ideas off where it may not be in their job description?
Just speaking from the agency side, I think increasingly the work we do specifically on clients is cross-functional teams working together to develop strategies, broader strategies, and that will include many, many disciplines, and that means you can create and get some of those ideas and innovation early on in the thinking and contribute, particularly areas like emerging technology, but also other areas in terms of sources of insight. You know, that if you get that in early, that creates that opportunity to do that, and that's exactly what clients want from us today, I think.
Sometimes I think it's a little bit of intuition, and sometimes I think it's just a little bit about really understanding your brand and really taking the time to just respect your customers. That's one of the things I think we're talking about a lot, is what do our customers really want and how do we want to be of service to them. They're the ones who ultimately build the brand. They're the ones who have co-ownership of the brand. I mean, anyone who drives an Audi is part of our brand, and that's a very important family for us. And we want to listen and we want to meet their expectations, but we also know that it's not just one owner, it's all the owners. So it's tough to manage that, but you just have to kind of, you know, use the strategic guidance and your own intuition on what's right.
I think if we take a look back years ago when I first started in advertising, there wasn't as much collaboration between the client and the agency when it comes to innovation, but now with technology and certainly in the payment space, I mean, it's impossible to ask the agency to come up with innovation without actually collaborating so tightly with us in terms of what is happening in the payment space, what are some of the new tools and technologies that we are launching, and how can we obviously collaborate to enhance those. So there's just far more conversation, I find, and integration amongst our media partners and the client than there ever was in years before.
The world has completely changed. I think anybody that has client responsibility, and ultimately that's everyone in an agency, is responsible for innovation, because everything's happening faster, everything's happening with new systems, everything requires someone to train something on something they don't understand. So frankly, I think everyone from the CEO down to a PA trying to help a client every day is responsible for it. It's almost, innovation isn't a thing anymore. In my opinion, it's become sort of the air we breathe.
And it has to be relevant, you know. So we all get caught up in the sparkly stuff, and I love it too. But is it relevant? Is it going to matter to the consumer? We talk about making sure that we integrate all types of new media as appropriate based on consumer behavior and relevancy. But what are the questions we're trying to answer? And so I would say the big ideas are what stories can help satisfy consumers' needs or enrich an experience for them, bring it to life in a way where the brand, you know, they feel good about the brand, and the brand is not necessarily interrupting their lives but enhancing it.
Historically, media, you get that 10 minutes to present the media plan, and you know, the rest of the time you're presenting the television spots and you're rushing through your media plan. Now it's about the media. It's how are you going to approach the market? How are you going to connect with consumers? And you know, I think we're shifting from, are we communicating to and just throwing messages, to connecting with? And I think media has a big role to play in that space and bring the insights and bring what's happening from a media consumption standpoint, much bigger role than it ever used to have.
This has become a bigger challenge, though, these days, with this expectation of real time and everything being in real time and monitoring the conversations and being very of the moment. I think to the earlier points, this idea of you have to use the brand strategy and insights as your North Star to really be the filter of what's worth responding to, what conversations you should be a part of, what you should activate against, and what you should just let go. And so I think that's probably a struggle for all of us, is this filtering of how to be fast and real time and responsive, but also be guided by your North Star of brand strategy and consumer insights to be relevant, not just real time.